Good morning. Hello, and welcome to the replay viewers. How is everyone doing today? So, good morning. Good morning. So, a couple things before we get started. I want to, my battery's running low, so I better plug this in because we don't want me to disappear during this. Well, maybe we do, but, bringing in this. Okay, so a couple things I want to. There we go. Now we got our back plugged in. So a couple things I want to add is that my readings are still on a sliding scale. So where they're at 50, 90, or 160 to book in a reading. We also have the mediumship. It's a virtual workshop, so that means it's online. It's going to be live. And it's going to be $88. So if you are wanting to register it, you have to pay for it to register. Just an FYI, it's great that you tell me, but if you haven't paid for it, to me, that's a confirmation, or putting some kind of form of payment down as a confirmation. Unless you've won it in the auction, of course, you should be in the messenger group. So messenger group has been formed for everybody, and it's May 28th. And I know I've been saying March. I don't know why. I guess I'm just lost in my months. So May 28th, we have that happening. We also have the mini readings, mini afternoon readings on June the 7th. And I believe I have like 3 or 4 spots left. And it's $25. And in order to get your spot, it's $25. So payments can be made. Whoa, things are falling over there. To thegurumama at gmail.com if you want to make a payment and do a payment by e-transfer, or you could do it by PayPal. So PayPal's the other way of doing it also. So you can make a payment that way. So we have that's going on, and we have the Intuitive Shaman course that will be coming up in June. So we have that course coming up, and that's a 4-week course working with the 4 elements, the north, the south, the east, and the west, and working with fire, water, air, and earth. So we have that coming up. So we have a lot of really cool classes coming up. And for those who are just joining me and they're like, well, who the hell are you and why are you teaching these classes? My name's Mary June Tracy. I'm a psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, and an astrologer. And I've been doing this work. I've been doing this work for over 20 plus years, and teaching many different classes. So I do have, this is my life. This is what I do. And in order to continue doing what I'm doing, I would just love to have you guys come in and join me for my classes and stuff. So what a day. The moon. Well, it's not the moon, it's the sun. The sun has moved into Gemini. So happy birthday, Geminis. We are into Gemini season, and Gemini energy is coming forth. And here we go. So in comes this Gemini energy, and it's full steam ahead, baby. Full steam ahead. With this, let me just pull up my little chart here. And we have the moon in Taurus. The moon has gone into Taurus. We have the nodes in Gemini. We have Venus in Gemini. We have Mercury in Gemini. We have the sun in Gemini. We have Vesta in Gemini. Oh, my Lord. It is like Gemini, full on crazy energy this week. This week is bringing it in full force. And Gemini's movement, man. Gemini wants you to move. Geminis don't sit still. This is about follow. If you're, it's like follow what does work in your life. It's not following what doesn't work. If it doesn't work, then you got to let it go. It's letting go the energies that are not working for you and not making sense for you. This is what makes sense for you. And you do have a beautiful trine with Saturn. So Saturn's coming in Aquarius. Yes, he is retrograde, but he wants to bring in that support. That's what Geminis do, right? That's what Saturn does. Saturn wants you to do something, give you that support, get you going, right? And plus we have a new moon in Gemini this Friday. So we have a new moon that's happening in Gemini, and it's aspecting a lot of this energy, a lot of things that we've been carrying on even for the last 8 years. So we have quite a few. I love it when it's just like, this is not a week to ignore. This is not a week to just, oh, I'll do that next week. Or yeah, I know that's an issue and I'll deal with that tomorrow, or I'll deal with that next month. This is about looking at now. This is where, with that Saturn is really, going to come right upon the new moon on Friday. And this is helping us to propel forward in new radical ways, like bringing in some newness for us in how we want to do our relationships, our projects, how we want to move forward in our world. And how does that feel and what does that look like? And this is where it is bringing in a lot of change. And this is where you got to look like Mercury's in there too. So Mercury's home. So Mercury's just going like a bat out of hell at moving at 2 degrees a day, just like boom. And you have Venus going very slow. So Venus is just moving, but you can't even really see the movement of Venus. Right now it's, 20 degrees, but it's like going in geometry, I think it's like 20 minutes, which isn't very much. So it's not moving very, very quickly at all. So we have this energy, and Mercury is heading straight towards Venus. So it's coming straight forward, and it's going to just like go right through, right? It's like won't even really be there. And they're going to conjunct on the new moon. So this is energy, this buildup within everything, and we're in the dark phases of the moon. We're in this energy that's coming into the balsamic, coming into the void, right? So it's like coming into the womb of the goddess. And as we enter into this womb of the goddess, it is allowing us to take where it is that we want to start to make the movements in our life. We're going to find that with all of this energy, it has a lot to do with mental health. So mental health is a big one this week, and dealing with your own mental health of the consciousness. But I feel it's more of your own mental health and coming in to where you need to let go of, where you're stressing out, where are you overthinking, where you need to take some time to breathe. So this is coming even, today, to start looking at where in your day do you take a time out? Where in your day do you sort of sit and breathe and just be? So that's where I feel where the energies are coming in and saying, okay, we want to make some changes here, things to make you feel good so you're not freaking out, right? So that's where Gemini is. Gemini's fast. Like Gemini's like, and Gemini's a pusher. Like they're going to push their way. They're going to get things done. They're going to just do things. It's like a hyperspeed highway that we're on. So it's a hyperspeed highway that's saying, okay, here we go. Where are you pulling off? Where are you going to pull off? Because going at hyperspeed for many of us, it's a lot. It's overwhelming. And we may feel exhausted and tired. We may even get to where, some people are getting insomnia with us. And so we really have to honor ourselves and saying, okay, I got to take some time. I got to breathe. Because our internal core, our internal talk could come in and say, well, no, you can't. You got this and this and this to do. Why aren't you doing this? And why aren't you doing this? And blah, 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 blah. So, and not only is that, coming forth, Gemini also wants to, Gemini travels light. That's why it goes so fast. It doesn't want baggage. And it's following intuition. So coming in, following your intuition, following in where you want to let go. And with Mars and Pisces, it's kind of weird. It's kind of, It's this energy of movement and wanting to have this movement, but it's just a weird space. But it's getting some help from Uranus. So Mars is getting some help from Uranus. It's sextiling over, and it's going to really make that sextile big on the new moon. So this new moon, for transitioning, for making change, is the moon to really sit down in our meditation, in wanting to make change, writing it out, doing your journaling. Where is it that you want to start creating more abundance, creating fostering a stronger relationships within your life, for yourself? And those relationships can be with your significant other. It could be with your children. It could be with your neighbor, your neighborhood, your community. This is about fostering this. This is about, Gemini isn't about the world. Gemini comes into its community. Where are you fostering that? Where is that working for you? How are you coming together? And how is that feeling for you physically, mentally, and spiritually? And coming into that alignment and where you want to start making the changes. And how does that feel for you? So this is really with, and plus on the day of the new moon, not only is Venus squaring Neptune, which can bring in a lot to do with the mental health, but also Mercury is going to be there squaring off Neptune. So it's about looking at the communications, the information that you're receiving. Remember, this is, Mercury is the god of communications. This is very Hermes, hermetic energies. This is where, with the Gemini paradigm, this is very much his world. This is coming in to the Palladian energies. This is coming in about, that connection to the higher selves and bringing that connection into the higher selves, doing some work with the Palladians. And if you haven't done work with the Palladians, start Googling. There's tons of information out there. Start looking into it. There's fabulous books and that are out there. Go with what feels. This is trusting your intuition. If it doesn't feel right, then don't do it. Don't back away. There might be something else that feels more into your alignment when it comes to working with the Palladians. And this Gemini energy is very Palladian. It's very much entering into that energy of working with, the higher selves and bringing that in. And Hermes, this hermetic world that's coming in, is wanting to change your whole life into a new world. And this is where you're going to find a lot of splits, where people in the collective are really split. Well, this is, and I'm even seeing it, like I'm feeling it, where people are very split, this side or that side. And I feel like it's not really. And then, of course, and then we got these lovely people that want to try and mold and make everything beautiful. But with this Gemini energy, it's not about trying to join all of these in. It's about you defining your own self. This is about looking at what you need to do and finding what is working for you. What side is working for you? It's not about going in the middle and saying this in a way that doesn't sound mean. It's not going in there and being that lovely little airy fairy person saying, oh, we can all work together in harmony and peace and love, which is beautiful, right? It's beautiful. This energy is saying, no, we're going to work on ourselves and what we need to do. So it is choosing a side of which side you want to work on. Because this is, Hermes is coming in, and this is messages up from God. He is a messenger of God. And bringing that messenger in, that's what lovely little Mr. Mercury does. He's a messenger. And he's bringing that message in. He's ahead of the sun. He's moving quick. He wants to tell you what's coming on ahead. So this is really getting you to make sense about your reality. This is about you looking at, this is where I really want to cultivate. This is really where I want to be. And it feels right for me. and it feels right for my family. And I feel I'm in tune with what's going on. And that's very important to really figure this out, because in 2 weeks from that new moon, we have a full moon lunar eclipse, and then we have a solar eclipse, and then we have another full moon lunar eclipse. So we're heading into 3 eclipses back to back to back to back. And that's a lot of energy that things aren't going to be seen the way that we want to be seen. Things aren't going to be apparent the way that we feel they should be apparent. So this is really giving us a lot of clarity. This is really bringing us in to being able to be supported by Saturn and saying, hey, I want to support you for your long term. And Candace is not good with the energies of the eclipses in the summertime. So I will write a note to Hermes and let him know to give it to the gods so that maybe they can change it for you, okay? I don't know if the note will get, if they will find the note, or it might get lost in transition, because, oh, right, Mercury's going retrograde in June in Cancer. So might get lost in the translation with everything. So this is where we are, and it's figuring things out and what makes sense, and pointing towards our reality, pointing towards what us, and not getting caught up in the collective. Everybody else has to figure out their thing, okay? And this is where you have to trust that they're going to figure it all out. And it's not for you to stand in the middle and try and figure out everybody else's shit. This is you figuring out yours. And that's where Gemini comes in. This is what is up in your life. This is coming in. This is bringing that energy in, that duality that you want. Because we live in a duality world, and Gemini is a twin, coming in and coming in to coexist. And looking at our doors, our pathways of what we want to do. So it's following our intuition, our truth. And with Gemini, if we look at 8 years ago, we had Venus retrograde, but we also had a Venus eclipse. And having that Venus, I think that was in 2012. Yeah. Venus, well, anyways, I'm like, got my dates wrong. There's a Venus eclipse, and Venus eclipses are very rare. And having that eclipse, was because then we had December 12th, 2012. So we had the Mayan calendar ending. So getting us into a movement of change, of regenerating ourselves. And this is also looking into our moral code, because our moral code is starting to change. We're changing this energy too, with a lot of what the moral code has been set for 700 years. And I started to do something, I started to do some rummaging with history and looking at, 1856, because 1856 is where Neptune was 20 degrees in the witch trials. But in 1856 was the suffrage movement, was the movement for women in making change. Where women across Canada and Europe and in different parts of the world and in England were making a move for women's rights, making a move for women to be able to vote, changing the Constitution, that we are no longer being left in a will. I leave my wife to George, my brother, plus my land. You would leave your wife to somebody else to take care of. So this was huge change that was coming in. And this was also for us in Canada, where the upper and lower Canada was changing to west and east. So things were starting to change. We also had issues at that time. And coming from 1856 to 1862, which was the start of the revolution in the States, where we had to defend our border defense. So looking at how we were defending our border, and where a lot of people wanted to keep things going, because we had a railway at the time that was going in, and we had free trade with the United States for our lumber and other resources going back and forth to the States. So a lot of that started to get tied up because of the Civil War and the splits. I found that very interesting for myself because, when I'm looking at Neptune, because Neptune was right at this time, right at that time. So in around 1856, around 20 degrees. So there was a lot of changes that were happening, and they kind of correlate to a lot of changes that are happening now. A lot of people were splitting what side to go on. Where should I go? And how should I, what part of the border should I be on? So this energy that's coming in is saying that, okay, we have to make choices. Some of the choices, you can't just be sitting in the middle and trying to fix it all up. This is it's like here or here. Which way? And looking into our intuition on following that, because following our intuition right now is so important on where it is that we are going to feel our alignment. Because Hermes is coming down, giving you messages from God. This is almost where it's like, messages in a bottle. So it's very much, it's floating around in that Piscean energy, right? And the bottle's coming in to find the truth code. And this is us pointing us into our reality that we want to create and where it is that we want to create it. This is also a time where there was a lot of radical changes back in 1856. With elections, there was an election down in the States, the end of the Whig Party, radical divides. And here in Canada, there was some divisions that were going up. So they were finding a lot of things that were starting to change. And things were starting, where independence was a big thing. Independence, rights of women were a big thing. So we're finding this energy coming in. And the eclipse cycle of Venus was 2004. Sorry. But this is where we're coming into this energy of light. Coming into this energy of light and bringing this light to us in order to help us, to guide us, and making some sense of some of the changes that we are making and we are creating. So this is about your spiritual practice. Again, we're coming back into our spirituality. Also coming back into our moral codes. What are your moral codes? Because the thing is many of our moral codes, some of the things that we've been hanging on to are over 700 years. And so we're changing them and we're stepping forward in a new truth. We're stepping forward in a new way, in a new alignment in order to create a hopefully more harmonious world with all of this. So this is bringing in a lot of push for us, a lot of transformation for us. This is about us weighing out a lot. And there's some energy that's coming in for us to break away from things, from money, from people, of things that no longer feel like that are our alignment. Breaking away so that we are able to gain more of the prosperity and the abundance and the love that we are wanting to have. It is a slow and steady pace. And we have that pace that's coming in order for us to create a long-term goals that can bring us in what we do value and what feels right for us. So this is a heavy week that's coming in, a week that is bringing in a lot of transitions and transformations. And you're going to find a lot of people being angry, frustrated, overwhelmed with this energy. And it could get you overwhelmed too, because you're feeling their energy where it's, wanting to come in with calmness and peace, but somebody may not want that calmness and peace, where they're trying to be louder than you are. And you're just coming in, you're still keeping your calm voice, and they're like, rah, 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 and you're just like, you're so blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, okay, I understand. And we're going to find that because there's that duality that comes in with Gemini. So it's a wild ride. It's really a wild ride. And we're going to find with our drive for ambition, a drive to create what it is in amongst everything else that's going on. So, sending you guys out so much love with everything, because I know there's going to be a lot of frustrations that are going to be coming in with this. So hence, my readings are on a sliding scale. If you need to discuss this, talk this, and look at energies that are coming forward in your own life. So we do have, I know I did pull the Nine of Wands. It jumped out, and the Nine of Wands is progress, moving forward, doing what you need to do, making that progress, that stepping forward in amongst everything that you've already done, and bringing in that love. So the Lover card came in, and the Lover card has to do with loving one another, but also loving yourself and loving what is around you in the relationships that you have, and bringing that all together in a very steady way. Of course, the Knight of Pentacles, in a steadfast way. So bringing this energy in a steadfast way, moving forward with what you are desiring, what is right for you, what feels right in your alignment. And when I say right in your alignment, that means it feels, yes, this is what I'm going to do. For some of you, I know some are feeling like you're keeping up your spiritual practice. You're keeping up what is right for you, but it's becoming more personal. You're not coming outwards with it. So you're desiring to do things in a whole new way for yourself, honoring that, but making sure that you're continually moving forward with it. Not just to say, I don't want to do that and then not do anything. So this is creating something that is for yourself, and in going, and this is where I feel the divide is, and bringing that divide. Funny, I just get some of the transmissions that I've been receiving, and I still get about hologram sacred geometry, and where crystals are fabulous, but I feel that we are heading into where the crystals are doing what they're doing, but we're having to move into something more. And the more is the sacred geometry, and bringing in the energies of sacred geometry. And I've seen them in stickers. I've seen them in, where you can place them in your room and stuff. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze and I didn't sneeze. So my nose is doing something. My nose is running. So this is where I feel it's our energies are having to move up to something more. And that's what that Palladian energy is getting us to move up into a higher transmission for energies, for us to connect with these higher energies. And the crystals are great. And yes, we do have some really high vibrating crystals that we can utilize, but it is with the sacred geometry that's really coming in more, that I feel is creating something stronger for ourselves, and creating. And I feel like if you are wanting protection and a shield, bringing in a shield of protection. So that's where I feel the sacred geometry is coming in. And that is very, oh my God, that's very Aquarius. That's very sci-fi, moving into where, yes, we have our earthly energies, our earthly things that we use, our sage, our crystals, and our essential oils and things along that line are fabulous. Those are earthly energies, right? Those are the earthly things that we use to create and have, but we are moving into energies that are needing something more. And that's where the sacred geometry is coming in and creating them into holographic images. And I believe there are companies that are already doing it. I know there's one in the States. And creating that and bringing them. And I know there's ones that you can put under your bed to bring in a better sleep, a higher vibrational sleep. putting them on where your electricity comes into your room, into your house, on top of the boxes, where the crystals are good, but they're not as good. So this is where it's like an upgrade for us, and coming into an upgrade of energies. And with Gemini always likes something new, right? Geminis are always on top of the new electronics, something new that's happening, new gadgets. And this is where this energy is coming in. And plus with the Pleiadians, remember the Pleiadians are a higher vibrational energy, and they're bringing this energy in a higher form. And I keep on seeing and I keep on receiving that those are great. Those are good. You know, yes, the crystals do help and aid you here, but in moving forward with this newness and new energies, we need to start entering into more of the sacred geometry, is that of the higher beings, the working of the higher beings, the working of the higher consciousness, and receiving the messages from the higher consciousness. And as we receive the messages from the higher consciousness, it helps us to integrate a lot of this energy as we move forward, in order for us to be able to see that. And they're showing me that you see things in a clearer way, that you see things in a crystal clear way, and you're not fogged. You're not in the fog. You're not in the fog. And even as you go out into your world and go out into your daily lives, that this brings in where you are in a protection. You are where many who are not wanting to change or wanting to step forward into their intuition, into their changes, where you're going to find, and they're showing a lot of people with the energies, but the energies are very slithering, kind of snake-like, lower energies. And this is where, with that lower energies, that when we are in the holographic, in this energy of sacred geometry, and they're showing me many different ones, like the flower essence, and they're showing me many different, the Star of David is one, and then they get very intricate with others, that as we go into these more and bringing them more into our lives is going to help us to guide, to manifest, bringing in more of our desires, of our, of our needs and of our wants into this world, because they don't want the suffering like we have suffered. They don't want the suffering. It's like when we come into this higher selves or this higher energy, it allows for greater abundance for all. But they're also showing me that this is quite a long path that we're on, because this pathway is going to there's a lot there that's coming in. Is the pyramid of white light that Metatron brings down a form of sacred geometry? Yes, because the pyramid is the sacred geometry, and Metatron does work with sacred geometry, right? So bringing that energy down, and that's, very much with this Gemini energy. The Gemini energy is bringing in new transmissions because it is connected with the Pleiadians and the Seven Sisters. So bringing that energy in, bringing in that formation of change forward for us. And that means that, this can be very personal. This doesn't mean that you have to go out and teach it. Doesn't mean that you have to go out and, do something, like that's not what they're saying. They're saying this, you can bring it into your own individual lives in order to create that harmony within your own home, within your work situations, into bringing in the protection in how you are protecting self, how you protect those that you love. That's where this is showing me. It's like, this is where, because as you go out, then you create that vibration where you go. That means that interaction, when you create with somebody else, it's an interaction of oneness. It's an interaction of love and joy. that's where it happens, right? Because you are triggering something in them that may needs to be triggered or needs to be, it's like when you smile at someone who's, you just give them that smile that just perks them up, right? So that allows for that, it's that it seems slow, but it is the ripple in the pond. It is that as you throw that, it's that effect that goes out, and allowing for that effect to go out in everything that we do. So bringing in, I think you can Google different sacred geometries and you can print them out if you wish. And they're showing me that you don't need anything to activate them. They start to work on their own. The activation starts to work. Like, we don't need to do anything to activate them. And they laugh. I got a laughter because they say, because everything that humans think, they think they have to do something. I got to do something. I got to, if you feel right to do a chant and do a song and a dance, it's, perfectly okay. But what they're showing me is that you don't need to do anything to activate the sacred geometry, because it's already activated. It's already there. When it is drawn, when you bring it in to your drawings, when you bring it in to what you are doing, it is already there. That's what it does. So you can bring them in, you can put them in and around your room. You can color them or in that if you wish. But that's what they're showing me. And it's funny because I have a sacred geometry one that I painted up here, and I've been wanting to paint a pink one, and I haven't done it yet. So this is where it's like, no, this is the time. This is where the focus needs to come in, and bringing that focus in. So with this is really looking into, and us breaking away from what, it's like, okay, the world is crazy right now, but I can break away. I don't need to go stepping into that crazy. I can respect it. I know what the laws are. I'll keep my 2 meters away from people. That's fine. But this is where I need to start looking at, where I need to start creating. So that's, going, when you're going in to smile at people, even, like, I don't wear a mask, so I'll smile at people. So it's bringing that in. You can smile with your eyes if you're wearing a mask, but this is where that creating has to start. And that is starting with this Gemini energy, is really catapulting us to get through this next half of the year and into 2021. This is a catapult. And it's funny because it happened in May of 2012 in order to catapult us towards December 21st, 2012. And December 21st, 2012, 2020, this year is huge. There's some, there's Jupiter and Saturn meeting in Aquarius. We have quite a few different conjunctions, plus it is an eclipse, plus it is, there's a lot of energy that's coming in for us on December 21st. It's not an eclipse, sorry, but there is a lot of energy that's coming. Anyways, I have to check. I think it is. Sorry, this is my brain. There's so much information coming in, but for us to bring in the changes for us. So yeah, if you are feeling, got dizzy. If you are feeling overwhelmed with everything, definitely with your mental health, definitely reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out if you do need help, because this is a lot, and not everybody's brain is wired to receive this information in a positive, enlightened way. Some of this can get really messed up in transmission with a lot of people, and feeling paranoia, feeling where they feel overwhelmed with this. So honor this as we go through, honor this as we're going through and receiving these messages and going into the paradigm, this Gemini paradigm. Whew, there you guys go. Wasn't expecting the Palladians to come in, but they came in. you know, to give you up, to give you the message, and sending you so much light. So have a fabulous day, everybody. My mediumship virtual workshop begins May 28th. It's $88. It is 6 weeks. We also have my readings on a sliding scale, and we also have on June 7th, we have readings that are coming, doing a open forum reading in the afternoon. So Sunday afternoon, come and join me. And on June 7th, and it's $25. There you go. Sending you guys out so much love. Thank you so much for joining me and being a part of the Coffee Corner Sanctuary. That's what I'm going to call it, the Coffee Corner Sanctuary. So, and coming here and creating your beautiful vibrations of love, and being that beautiful spirit you all are. May the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you do and all that you say and all that you be. Blessed be everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Blessings.